What's up, you goofy motherfuckers? Welcome. Welcome back yet again. Another episode of Do It or Don't. A weird one at best. We're excited you're here. And we got so much great shit to hit on. Thank you for joining us. Quinn, drinks up.
My massive bottle.
Yeah, size does not matter in this situation. Hello, people of the world. I feel like a bag of bricks, and I will tell you why in a second, but I'm excited to do another episode of Do It or Don't. I'm your host, Spencer, and on the episode is it's a little feels a little empty in the room because it is just Quinn and I currently, but we're kind of due to some scheduling conflicts this week, we're kind of doing a bit of a Frankenstein edit. So this week's episode is hitting on a bunch of shit, as I kind of mentioned in the intro, but we're going to be talking about some of the kind of recapping on some of the discussions on our last episode. We were talking about the problematic photographer situation at the Pigpen show. There's that's a tongue twister in and out of itself. Problematic photographer Pigpen show or performance. So there's 5 P's there. Problematic photographer. My brain hurts.
Stop.
Anyways,
stop while you're ahead.
So we posted a few clips from that episode, and things shot through the roof as far as engagement goes. So we're going to be responding and reacting to some of those comments, because as divisive as a situation that is, I felt that the comments that were coming not only from people that have never touched a camera in their life, to people that do that professionally or very active in that pursuit, it was all generally very positive. Would you agree with that, Quinn, or am I giving too much?
Honestly, I'm a little shocked that there was not as many negative comments as I was expecting. There was really not that many. So shout out all y'all for leaving positive comments and not spreading more negativity in the world, but I'm honestly shocked.
Yeah. And we wanted to kind of build off of that, and we're going to be talking, laying some groundwork and rules, maybe going forward to kind of finish the thought there. We're also going to be talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 and seeing how that shapes up on our Tony Hawk Pro Skater tier list. I had to record that on a separate day with Grayson because he's playing some shows this weekend with Bruiserweight. Shout out. And I think this is a precursor, but I think we're trying to bite off more than we can chew, because last time we did the initial 1, 2, and 3 Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtracks, we did all of those in one episode, but I had neglected or didn't put it together that Underground, which is the game after Pro Skater 4, has goddamn 78 songs on it. So we were already a little strapped for time because of the nature of doing this episode, but you'll see it start to unravel once we get to that section of the episode. But we're going to have probably next week, if not the week after, but our next main Tony Hawk episode is going to be a Thug 1 and Thug 2 megasode. So if those games are important to you, make sure you tune in for that. But Pro Skater 4 is also a pretty iconic piece as well, so we'll be talking about that later. So Quinn, we have a lot to get to, but how's your week been? It's Mother's
Stressful.
Day today. Shout out to the moms.
My week started off extremely stressful. For those of you who don't know, it's a project I haven't really talked about a lot, but on Sunday was our first filming day for it, and it's a big project that is hopefully going to drive more bands to tour Winnipeg, I would hope. And yeah, it was a lot stressful, way more stressful than I anticipated it being, and it was a big project, but I'm happy it's done. I think it's going to look amazing, and I can't wait to put everything out in the world and see just what happens with it. Yeah, so
So this is
the
the
rest of
project.
the week then has been relaxed compared to then, but
Okay.
still just working and whatever. So just your
Yeah.
regular week throughout. But it started off stressful.
Yeah. And this is the project that you've talked about previously.
Yeah, I've mentioned it on the show before. I mentioned it last episode, and I was talking to when we were talking to Alan, and it was like, make sure you book an extra day in Winnipeg. We'll get you hooked up with all kinds of stuff,
Have you
including being on this project. Yeah.
have you is it up to you, or is it kind of a joint discussion of what's the name of this project?
It'll be called On the Dot, live at the Handsome Daughter.
Oh, on the dot.
Yeah.
I like that. It's catchy.
It very much goes with the vibe of the project and the location in which, the Handsome Daughter's sponsoring it and essentially letting us use their space to film everything. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Are you? Is there like some graphic designs and logos being made for that?
I
I haven't seen anything,
believe
so I'm just as in the dark as the rest of the audience.
I believe we do have the graphics all figured out. It's just a matter of waiting for the audio to get mixed and mastered and come back to me to add to everything so I can start editing. Because I can't really edit anything without the audio, because the audio is kind of the whole point. So,
Right.
yeah.
How many cameras did you have running?
We did 4 the first time, but we forgot one of the cameras for this time, which wasn't a big deal because the one that was forgotten was the camera we used for the wide angle, and it's like we don't really need, I think, a wide angle for this particular project. I didn't think the wide angle to be too interesting when I was editing it the first time.
Right.
So it'll just be 3 cameras. We had 2 on gimbals on either side, and then one like master cam in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that person is kind of spinning around, kind of looking wherever.
Yeah, mostly in the middle, capturing like the lead singer and I think the drummer most of the time, and then the other person was capturing like whoever was standing on the left side, and then I was getting whoever was standing on the right side.
Nice. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it when you have even like a rough draft done, because it would be cool to even watch a couple minutes of that for a future episode. Yeah. So on the dot, coming soon. Big things coming soon.
Big things.
So Bev wise, before we get into some of our points here, Quinn has the very classic
I got my iced
quintessential
coffee.
drink. Yeah.
Iced coffee that I'm always drinking, always in some kind of jar because it's the easiest and best way to drink it. And we like the planet, so we reuse stuff.
That's true. We like the planet. I'm drinking something I've had for a long, long time, and I was waiting for the best time to utilize it, and doing a more like one-on-one time with Quinn. I felt like that makes sense. So this is a drink by I think the brand is called Ocean Bomb, but I'm hoping my camera can pick it up a little bit. I don't have the autofocus, but it's essentially a Sailor Moon Crystal Dragon like official collaboration, and it's a mango flavored sparkling water.
Spencer posted that in our group chat, and I immediately was like, "What is that?"
It really is a special thing.
I love Sailor Moon, so
I might have to keep just this can, but let's do the ceremonious.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was. I was trying to like really stretch it out as far as I can. Sweet. Well, cheers, Quinn. Do it or don't 10. Here we are.
And double digits.
Double digits.
What a weird episode
whoa,
for double
that's
digits.
insane. What?
Like taste wise?
Yeah. Like sometimes mango drinks are like too much.
That's fair.
This is sparkling water. That's crazy.
I normally like a good peach flavor, and I recently had the no sugar peach monster. Terrible. The worst monster I think I've ever had.
Whoa. Shots fired. That monster.
I'd rather drink the original monster over that, and that says something because I don't like how the original energy drink flavors taste at all.
That's fair. Okay, so this is tasty, but I think part of the reason it being so like how is this a sparkling water? It has like 23 grams of sugar in it. So
Oh, that's a lot.
lot.
That's a lot.
considering like if you
For
get
a
like a
sparkling
bubbly,
water.
it's 0
Yeah.
across the board. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, anything for Sailor Moon, Ms. Moon. I didn't really watch Sailor Moon growing up, but I think it was one of those like this is one of those things that looks too
But you
perfect
knew
to,
about
like-
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like I don't like don't quiz me on any Sailor Moon lore by any means. So yeah, there's a lot for us to hit on. The doc even before our main things here is pretty crazy. But let's. I guess the first thing I want to call this an appetizer of a clip. It's just this video is it's so funny.
I don't think I've seen anything in the doc yet, so this will be. Oh my god. That's pretty good.
This has like I was talking to someone who is almost 10 years younger than me at a friend's birthday party last night, and they were like I was on TikTok back when it was called Musical.ly, and I was like I was on something called Vine, and they're like, whoa, you were actually on. I was like, this has like insane Vine energy.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I miss Vine. Vine was the best.
Jesse James _ Smith. You are a comedic genius, my bro. So yeah, I needed to share that because obvious reasons. Another quick funny banger that we can get into. I really wish when I pulled up these Instagram videos that the audio played automatically.
I don't even hear it.
That is
I can't hear it. I feel like the audio is important for this one, and I can't
it
hear
really
it.
is. You can't hear it?
No.
How do I? Well, maybe I have to reshare the thing. But you were hearing the other one.
No, I just saw it.
Oh. Lame.
Yeah.
To share? Wait. Oh, share the tab instead. Oh, okay. So I guess I can't.
Yeah, you have to share the tab.
I see. Yeah. Well, let me. I'll restart it here. Just so Quinn can see that and hear that.
Everyone can be through this entire breakdown.
So
There
essentially,
we go.
Taylor is like, nobody move for this entire breakdown. This is a very like reverse psychology kind of mosh call.
Here we go. No one move.
It's so funny because people are like, "Say less. I'll just continue to stand with my arms
Yeah,
crossed."
yeah. That's so funny.
That fucking sucked. That was awesome.
There's some people that I need to give some props to during this. So, the band, like, this is one of those scenarios where it's like it really goes to show how movement and energy, like for just heavy music in general, like is so like without it's this. This is like nightmare fuel of like not like doing that. And it's one thing when the band is doing it, but like there's a give and take. There's like feeding off of the crowd and the crowd feeding off of the band's music. But if it's just music and everyone's just standing like a bunch of like Easter Island statues, yeah, that shit sucks. I don't
This
know
is
if
how I
you can see
imagine.
this
This
guy
is
with his
how I-
hands up the entire time. Just
No, I didn't.
it's like no one move.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see it now, yeah.
It's like, have you seen those TikToks where it's like first person to move is gay, and then everyone's like,
I can't say I have, but that is funny. This is how I imagine my little weekend tour is gonna be. going
I hope
to
not.
so for those of you who don't know, because I don't think I've mentioned this on the show, but the first weekend of June, I'm going on tour with my buddies and couriers. They're going to Lloydminster in Regina, so if you're wanting to check us out and you're watching and you're from there, come hang out. What is it? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. The 7th, 8th, and 9th should be the weekend that we're in Lloydminster and Regina. So
Okay.
if you want to come, hang out. It'll be a fun time. I hope the shows aren't like that, but I imagine they very well could be.
I have to plug this from the homie and mugshot. Why? Come on. Why? What's this word?
Inexplicable.
Inexplicable craziest merch night you'll ever have. That is like so bang on because as someone who has done a little bit of touring in my time, it's always the shows that are like not as sick on the mosh side or like even like attendance wise, it could be kind of like really weird because you're just playing like a random town, like Quinn was saying, like Lloydminster, but you could fucking do a killing on merch that night because people might not feel like they feel indebted that you went to their tiny town, and they might only get like a heavy music event every few months, if not like a couple times a year. So, and you know, like there's levels to that because you know you might see that a little bit in Winnipeg, but like that is felt even more in like really more outskirt places, like especially if you're going like Eastern or Atlantic Canada and you're going all the way to like Nova Scotia. People are like not picking up just one piece of merch off the table, they're picking up like three, and then they become like your favorite band.
I feel like although Winnipeg doesn't get a lot of shows, we're still lucky in the shows that we do get because we get some pretty massive stuff. And we're lucky that Comeback Kid brings a lot of heavy music bands through just on their own because they've gotten so big. Yeah. Like the next, because they're doing another Wake the Dead show in Winnipeg. I can't remember who's on the bill, but it's some pretty big names.
Yeah, the tour, the bands that they have on that on that tour, and I think some are on select dates because I think Incendiary isn't playing Calgary, which is so fucking annoying because I love that band and haven't seen them live yet. But I think it's them, the Flatliners, Puny D, and Prowl. So
Yes, that sounds right. Yeah.
Puny D and Prowl literally on Eastern and Western Canadian representatives, and then Comeback Kid is that band that also has members from all throughout Canada, but is, I guess, most known to be from Winnipeg. That's a nice touch for sure. Last thing before we jump to some of the other main stuff on our list, I randomly saw this on my feed. Oh, that URL is just twice. Let's try that again. So this Instagram account is making a it's I would equate this as a children's a children's band alphabet book. So
That's awesome.
this was posted like a week ago, and E is for Earth Crisis, and I guess they do all like the drawings of all the members, and you know, get all the right sneakers and headwear and all that. But it's cool because, you know, we still got a lot of alphabet to go, but they kind of go back to kind of showcasing the other ones that they've done. So they got Drain, D is for Drain, C is for Comeback Kid.
Hell yeah.
We even got like the vegan sticker on the guitar. That's a nice touch. B is for Black Flag, and then A is for Agnostic Front. So this obviously is rolling out all these letters, but it's funny because now everybody is just commenting, you know, whatever the next letter. Like Earth Crisis is like, oh, Far Side better be for F, which I was like, that's a pretty. I feel like maybe when this is done, like this is HE Creative is the people putting this together. Really. Oh, okay. Oh, we're a little bit behind. I
Look at that
apologize.
floor punch. There's F.
We got F is for floor punch. G is for Gorilla Biscuits. H is for H2O. Man, Ian MacKay got his own thing.
His own
guess-
thing.
I is a tough one for sure. J is for Judge. K is for Keith Morris. What do we got next? How long ago? Oh, this is today. This is an hour ago.
Wow, look at that.
So I feel like I'll just put it out on the episode, but I'm gonna reach out to the folks that are running this because I think it would be very cool to talk to them about like the why behind doing something like, because this is definitely a cool Instagram series, but the fact that it's like a book that you can buy, and what I think is maybe not for kids, but it's something that you could show to your kids, you know, like
Yeah.
there's some questions here, but I think this is great. This is very wholesome. What would be the next? L. I saw Leeway. I feel maybe maybe whether it's next episode or by the time that this wraps up, maybe we should do our own alphabetical list for like what we think for bands. Cool. Okay, so one last kind of thing that just deserves its proper spotlight, but is kind of a callback to us talking about shit in this turnstile, the return style world that we are in. Turnstile a couple days ago did their, I guess, like, I think that this is considered their first live kind of showcase for some of the new record. in Baltimore.
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about it because I think it was out last episode. But the new songs that came out after Never Enough.
Yeah, yeah. Truthfully, I didn't listen to those, but I think I saw that one of them had either a feature of Hayley Williams or they like worked with Hayley, or that's on a different song.
I didn't see that,
Let me
but
see if I can.
the
find
new
that out
songs are
quick.
pretty fire. And I think people are happy to hear that they did come back with heavy music. But also, I'll quote Grayson on this one: if you like their old stuff, it still exists.
It's true, but I think that there's a I don't know. I think it's one of the I really think if you side by side compared like album rollouts, there's always like the first track is like the one that you're like, "Oh, I don't know." And then the second track's like the "Don't worry, we're still heavy." And then the third track's the "But we're also going and trying these types of things
Yeah.
as well." So maybe that's an interesting
Also, I'm not the only one that said Never Enough was shoegazy and Turnstile is going in a shoegazy direction. There's a music TikToker who I don't know if you've seen it, but he does the I'm not trying to be genre phobic, so I'm listening to every single genre. He does that.
Oh,
But he
I
also made
haven't
a
seen
video. He also made a video about Turnstile. That's funny. We should bring that up for an episode because I think it's a super interesting concept that he does
that.
that.
Not
But he
trying
also
to be genre-phobic.
so yeah, there's some really funky genres in there that he goes over. But he made a video about Turnstile and he called Never Enough shoegazy, which is what I said, and people got mad at me for that. But you know, I'm not the only one who's calling it shoegaze, so I don't know what to tell you guys.
I mean, I don't mean to pull the curtain a little too far back here, but I think Quinn and I both knew that putting that out as a clip was going to generate some keyboard warriors to come out, and Quinn, you were very much willing to not take the fall, but like be like, yeah, I'll do that for some clicks and engagement. But I don't think that it was a bait and switch by any means. I
No,
think there is some
I
truth to
genuinely do think that they took a shoegazy direction with this newer album, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's what Title Fight did. They were a post-hardcore band who came out with their last album and made it leaned into a little bit more of that shoegaze sound.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what Turnstile is doing. So, you know, if Turnstile falls off the face of the earth after this album, I wouldn't be surprised because that's what Title Fight did.
I don't think anybody wants that.
No,
per
I don't
se.
want that. I don't think anybody wants that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be
'Cause
surprised
everybody
if
is
that happened.
like every single April Fool's. It's Title Fight reunion tours, reunion tour announced, and then all the dates are just April Fools. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. So Turnstile shares new video and songs featuring vocals from Dev Hynes and Paramore's Hayley Williams. So again, have not peeped the tracks yet because my life is crazy. Get this fucking Billboard newsletter out of here. Come on. Get out. Can I not?
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm okay, it's fine. Anyways, yeah. Turnstile. The main things I wanted to say. Quinn, you can still hear me, right? You're just on mute.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh no. Spencer's computer dying. Anyways, this show is insane. The way that this is shot more on like a film, like VHS kind of like older tech styling. This looks like fucking like Woodstock. Like that
Yeah.
is in like that is it feels like I if I was to die today, like this is what I hope heaven has for live music. It's just like beautiful greenery, everybody up at the stage, and then like the sickest band of all time, where every stage diver is caught perfectly, and their jumping aerial is on point. Anyways, I had a couple of friends of mine who were posting stories from this show, and they were like way in the trees there. But man, it's so cool to see a band like, you know, making music, making that kind of hardcore, but it is bridging into new people and showing like a more global audience of what HC is all about. And we love it.
So I don't think I posted it in the group chat when I probably should have, because you saying that reminded me, when you said that this looks like Woodstock. Dude, did you see that All American Rejects did like a college house show?
Yes, I did see that.
That was crazy.
I
don't know what kind of recession we're in, but like old tech is the new vibe. Fucking bands are going back to house shows. The economy's getting out of control. Like crazy. We're just going back in time, it seems like.
I have an idea for an episode we can do where it's live, like DIY shows in strange places, and I feel I definitely drop that in the group chat so that can be included, because I want to include so many really obscure places that can only happen within like more punk and underground music culture. Cause
I think I saw a Midwest emo show inside of like a Subway in Toronto.
That's cool.
It was either Toronto or New York. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But last time I tried looking it up, I couldn't find it. So I'm like wondering if I'm crazy or maybe I'm misremembering what band it was. I don't know. But like it was crazy. And I do remember seeing it. It was on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. There's like, I think the weirdness of those things, especially over the pandemic specifically, like people were finding those, you know, the what the fuck is up Denny's, and like people playing in parking lots or under bridges. And again, you're not gonna see like fucking Dave Matthews Band or even like Mastodon in like a setting like this.
No,
but you'll see a
not at all.
band who is just as skilled with to those types of bands, and I feel like seeing them in a more obscure place makes it that much like more like unique and wholesome.
Oh, I also saw, speaking of this conversation too, I also saw a clip the other day of yesterday of Bill Murray, and it was so funny because he was talking about like he was like, oh, at my shows I can walk through like the entire crowd and nobody will like treat me as a celebrity. They just treat me like I'm some dude. You know, they'll be like, hey, how's it going? You know, just like casually, which is like kind of crazy.
I feel like you're unintentionally reading my mind on a bunch of like future stuff that I want to do, because another aspect is I want to have a whoa, what did we just Billboard hit me with the Final Destination ad and then hit me with a Sage ad right back to back.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is I think I've been saving clips to do a kind of like a if this celebrity was to be in a band, what would they play and what kind of music?
Okay.
So that's another feature. This is why you got to subscribe to the Scoped Exposure Podcast YouTube channel and follow all the Do It or Don't social links so you don't miss all the good shit that we have coming up. Whether it's us thinking about the idea right now or I have been for 6 months and I just working it out. Other quick callbacks. The Piggest of Pens is now on the flat spot, which in my knowledge of things, this could have just been very much in the background even before their first show. But maybe it just saw the first show and then wanted to pick it up, because Maddie's talked about, and we've talked about this on the show before, this record that they recorded over COVID has been done for a long time. So maybe it was just very easy for a record label to scoop it up. But knowing how, there's timelines to things, this could have been well in the works for a while. So debut LP Mental Madness out June 27th.
Ooh, release date.
It's funny because everyone's like, I can't find the Spotify link, but it's like literally there's no music up right now. Oh, no, I stand corrected. There's a link to stream it in the bio.
Music and single out now. Yeah. Music video single.
I've seen a lot of comments like this. Like, a lot of people are struggling to find it, and sometimes that happens when it's a brand new artist on Spotify versus one that already has like a bunch of releases, where it will kind of like push those out. But Pigpen is like also I don't know if there's a lot of other bands that are like that, but oh my god, can I get a chicken parm in my front monitor? Technically speaking, yes. Should you? I feel like that's bad for the monitor.
Probably not, yeah.
Additionally, to finalize the Pigpen press-related things, I am just on fire today with the alliterations. Not only are these guys on Flat Spot, but they're also going to be playing Furnace Fest, which is a little crazy. Hopefully there's not a similar photographer situation at Furnace Fest. But if we've...
I would hope that a festival is more organized when it comes to that kind of stuff. I would hope.
No, Furnace Fest is honestly really dialed in for their kind of stuff. But we will talk about some of those things. Well, I guess now we're kind of at that point. So, last episode we talked about Pigpen's first show, looked at some of the clips with all the crazy, line of photographers, and we posted some of those clips on our IG. And it's funny because when we post on TikTok and YouTube, the numbers do pretty well, but there's no comments. But like we got so many comments for
on Instagram.
Sorry, was I not sharing the right tab?
No, you weren't, but that's okay.
So I'm gonna share it, so maybe Jordan can put it on there, as I was talking about it before. And I don't think I even...
He'll figure it out.
Yeah. Jordan, you got this. please got this.
This is already gonna be a lot of work for him anyways.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna pull up some of the comments. Should we just jump to the second one? Because that one definitely had the most. Or should we go to the first one that we did?
It's up to you. I don't think it matters the order.
Yeah, let's go to the second. Because it's not like they're chronological. Like, they could have been swapped. So that's fine. So, also shout out to Quinn for making these clips.
Hell yeah.
Because, yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's like my main job, if you guys didn't know. I make the clips for the social media.
So, I don't know if I can showcase the analytics on So this clip specific. Well, we could just watch it. I think it's largely based around the idea. Well, actually, we hit on three key points. It's like the aspect of like delivering shitty photos, not improving as a photographer, and then you, Quinn, are also kind of mentioning like when you have a very like beginner level camera, like sometimes in a low light venue situation, that's like not gonna turn out as good a product if you have better gear. And I should preface all of this, like I feel like I'm putting this out and talking about all these things in a very self-aware way where like I was doing a lot of this over a long period of time, and that's how like Scope Exposure originally kind of got built. And I think I really was hard-headed at the beginning with like, you know, like filming shows is so important, and it's like more important than all these other things as far as like people's preferences. And I really got into a lot of disagreements with people online, in person, in my own scene, and like and I'll just like I'll keep it 100. A lot of people continue to have negative opinions about me and about Scoped Exposure just because of how tunnel vision I was about like the project that I was doing. That being said, I think when you get older and you force yourself to think about different perspectives, it allows you to kind of realize this actually isn't that. I shouldn't be fretting this much about something. And I think there's nuances and all that. I still firmly believe that like punk and hardcore music in general, like without documentation, like documentation is such an important aspect of it, not just for the bands, but like the venues that these events are happening. The scene, agree. The community, I've told this story multiple times on the episode, but there's a photographer out in Seattle that shared, I don't know if it was on a post or we were talking back and forth, but he has had multiple times, because he's been taking photos in the scene there for multiple years, where if certain people, unfortunately, the end of their life comes sooner than expected, and like a lot of people are reaching out to him to get photos when that person was jumping up on stage to grab the mic for this one part, or they were stage diving, or just like had, they just had way more documentation of them being their true self versus like the family photos at home, or like whatever the situation is, right? And so like I think that is an immeasurable offering that you can do to get back to your scene, and like doing it like just for that reason, not to I can get $100 per band or whatever it is. And again, there's nuances to all of this. I think everybody who wants to do that can set their own parameters of like, hey, I don't have enough time to do this, so I need to charge. Or, hey, I'm young and I'm not as experienced and I just want to gain experience doing that. But I think we're going to set some ground rules here. But yeah, let's get into some of these comments. I'll get off the podium and, end my TED Talk here.
I was going to just like kind of roll that into like mention my new project that I'm working on again is kind of going to be a little bit about archiving bands that have toured through Winnipeg, and like especially the smaller DIY bands, because that's what the Handsome Daughter caters to as a venue. So yeah, I think I also agree with Spencer in that that's really important, just to have that kind of documentation at these smaller DIY shows, because if you're not doing it, there might not be anyone else there, so.
Yeah. And again, this, like, I honestly could dedicate an entire month's worth of episodes talking about this shit. And despite me not, like, doing it anymore, it's still something that I'm very A, like educated and experienced on, but B, like passionate about. Like yeah, anyways, I digress. Let's read some of the comments. So
You were gonna watch it first.
oh yes, yeah, thank you. What would I do without you, Quinn?
I don't know.
Can't move around. Love it so much. I get the photos back and they're shit. I've experienced this. Is like, do not send me shit photos of the band that you shot and got in the way of on stage.
I have taken terrible videos of bands in the early days of Scope Exposure, but doing those terrible videos made me learn. Are there people who are going to take shitty photos for years and never improve? Unfortunately, yes. So I think this point, I just wanted to kind of like add some thoughts to. I've definitely gone and I've played shows. I've gone to festivals where there's like multiple people, and there's definitely a, you know, when the links start getting shared to the band accounts, or maybe it's in a group thread, there's definitely times where I'm like, oh, I really like there's a natural like best to worst that I can kind of rank. And sometimes like Quinn, I'm sure like you feel this, like there's only one photographer, so like anything is still like anything is great at that point. But I think that to me is no different than 5 bands that are playing a show. You're going to be driving home that day and be like, this was the order of performances. And it's just the way that we as humans just categorize like what is subjectively good and not good to us. It's going to be entirely different for someone else. And a lot of people are just grateful that someone took photos of their band to begin with.
I shot Dead Heat when they came through here, and one of the comments I got from someone at the show was one of the promoters was like, oh, like, thanks for taking photos, like I never see anybody taking photos at these shows anymore. So it's like, in Winnipeg at least, I think I've mentioned this last episode as well, but yeah, it just seems there's less photographers in the punk hardcore universe.
Yeah, and I think that there's we're getting into some other things here as far as like what I think are like the do's and don'ts. But I think not included on that, but I think something that is worth well, no, I did kind of include a bit of that. I think that there is just a ratio that should be considered, and that's, I don't think that you could really determine it if you had all the best mathematics and people who like took pro calculus in the world to figure that out. But I really think that if there's no one, I think there should be someone, and that's exactly what like I did with Scoped, is that no one was filming filming the entirety of bands. There were photographers, yes, but I wanted to see live sets of these shows, so that's why I started. And I'm sure there's people in like smaller scenes that are like, there's no one taking photos or videos, so I'm gonna start that. But the flip side of the coin, if I lived in proper Los Angeles and I was going to a show at 1920 or fucking Chain Reaction or whatever major venue, and I saw 7 to 10 different photographers there, I would probably be like, yeah, I'm probably good just to like hang. Like, yeah. I love, like, I have had a camera in my hand like almost definitely for the majority of my adult life, almost single every day. I've had a camera in my hand and I've used it for something. That is very much a part of who I am.
Yeah, I'd also agree with that.
Yeah. But that being said, I think being a part of a community and knowing when you should be the person with the camera in the hand and when it's okay for you not to be is also the nuance here. I'll keep watching. Yes, people who are doing that, especially in a pursuit of giving back to their scene, I think the norm is that they get better and then they become a staple person. So to essentially, I was talking about like I had a shitty camera when I first started filming shows, but every single time I would watch that back and be like, okay, how can I make this better? Do I need to get better gear? Do I need to get a different lens? Do I gotta like shoot with different settings? And I think generally when people start doing that and they get like a really great money shot, I'm sure Quinn, you've like come home from a show and looked and you're like, that's the shot. And then that's like more fuel in the tank for you to go out and do it again, but better.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is The Devil Wears Prada, not when they just rolled through, but in 2023, I believe it was when they came through with Counterparts. I have a really, really good shot of the guitarist holding his guitar towards the camera, and he got like sweat on my lens, so there's a little bit of like really nice like bokeh. I know it's out of focus, but it's still a sick shot. How can I do better? Make sure it's in focus next time.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm also the only photographer. I think there was about 5 photographers in the pit for that show. I was the only one who was standing at that spot for that moment. I'm the only photographer who got that shot.
Right. Okay, yeah. I really appreciate you bringing out that point.
Yeah.
I think there is something to be said about having more than one in the sense that even if you are like spidey sense, like I can point and shoot and capture all like those unique moments where the guitarist is holding up his shit like this, or the drummer does a stick trick, or the singer has someone jumping over their back. Even if someone had like trained a robot to like do all of that, or you know, like Spider-Man or Tom Holland is like with shooting the webs. This analogy is getting off the rails. Even if you can perfectly do it, you're still gonna miss shots, because part of that is the composition, like where you're looking, what focal length you're using, like so there you're able to hit on different types of photos and invoke different types of emotions if you have someone who's shooting primarily with like a more like fisheye wide style lens versus someone who's like in the back of the room with a 70-200, you know? And again, people that have never touched a camera in their lives, they hear these focal lengths, they don't even know what a focal length is, and they're just like, what the fuck do you mean? So that's why there's people who are specialized in these areas. That being said, because you are specialized and you have a skill that you can offer to a more DIY community that really doesn't, at the end of the day, have a lot of money to invest in high quality stuff, but maybe you live and breathe this shit and you want to just do it. I think you need to not feel like you need to like over explain or complicate it to people. Like I think it just needs to be like just do your thing, but also do it in a very like non-intrusive, self-aware way, which we're gonna get into. I literally have the props here. I feel like we've watched the majority of the clip here, so I want to get into some of the comments. So Dave, speaking of kit lens can get good if there's good stage lighting, which unfortunately most punk venues don't have, and shooting raw. And even good high ISO video if the light is good, since everyone just adds film afterward. So speaking to this from a video perspective, and Quinn, I'll say it. If when you're making clips from this episode, let's like screenshot the comments so we can have it like above it. I think that would be good. I actually think you can reply to the comment with a reel. Is that right?
I think so. But yeah we'll
do one of those. So speaking from the video side, I in the early days didn't have like the craziest Sony lens to do like, oh, like there's we're in a basement and it's one singular bulb. Like I can just crank my ISO and it's fine. I over the years what I would do is I would go to the person who was running kind of the soundboard, and as I was setting that up, I would ask like, I would inquire like, what are your plans for lighting for this show? And normally it'd be like, oh, we got this, or we kind of just like kind of do like a little red, like we kind of just change it throughout the night. And what I would do is I would say, hey, if you could do me a favor, because I'm doing video of all the bands, unless the band has a specific request for lighting, could you just have all the lights as white as possible? Just because like we've seen all the crazy show photos and show video that is just like red, like it's just too much. But when you introduce like natural white light, you're able to play around with the raw files a little bit more if you wanted to be stylistic. But I think also it just looks a lot better in a live show setting. That's just my opinion. But again, not to get it twisted, I always say unless the band has a specific lighting request. And a great example of this is there's a band from Calgary called Trench, and I'm going to be seeing them next week with Speed in Calgary. They have always been a band that have really leaned into the usage of green in their merch, in their album artwork, and especially in their live show settings. So every single time I've seen them, one of the Chans would get on the mic before they played and is like, "Can you do only green lights?" And then I see everything go from maybe how it is here, and then it's just all green. And am I rushing to the back and being like, "Hey man, I like absolutely not. It's what the band wants." And if that is gonna worsen, or not worsen, but like, is that not as ideal for what I'm doing? Maybe, but it's like, it's the band's set. And if the majority of their video is going to just be green, that's what they want. And then that's the vibe that I need to lean into. So yes, like usually, like what I would recommend is just to get a camera that you can crank your ISO, which is just like a part of your exposure, just to make it as bright as possible so you can do that. But I think it's very important just to like, if there's no preference, you can mention that up front before the show happens, but always default to whatever the band wants to do. I've had sets where it's literally like, oh man, this looks great. And the singer gets on the mic, he's like, turn all the lights off. And I'm like, well, this video's fucked, but whatever. And the set's
not much
awesome.
you can do at that point. Yeah, no, the set will look great. Just on camera, it probably won't translate as well.
Yeah.
And I had something to say about this too, because what I specifically mentioned in the video was a T5i with a kit lens. And if you know anything about camera gear,
I think this
you know
is your
that
car.
T5, yeah, it definitely is.
Respectfully.
T5i is a DSLR. So realistically, you can't bump your ISO without the grain making your fucking entire photo look like it's out of focus. That's what's so bad about it. But with these new mirrorless cameras, it's a lot easier to bump up your ISO without having grain and without it ruining your entire photo, as well as I think the Lightroom denoise function now works a lot better with mirrorless cameras than it does with DSLRs as well. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Spencer, but that's my take. That's my understanding of all these new tech that's in the camera world.
Yeah, like I think you can get decent shots, because like especially in like a bigger show setting when there's like the stage lights are like really, really hot, you're probably like, oh shit, I need to turn down my ISO because it's just like so much all at once. But again, these are like we're speaking to the very DIY bare bones kind of shows, and again, I think there's nuances to all of it. If you are the only person in your scene and all you have is a T5i, shoot with your fucking T5i, you know?
I'm not saying don't shoot. I'm just saying don't have super high expectations. Don't think you're going to get a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah. And I think it's really the why is always the most important thing. Like, why am I doing this? Am I doing it so I can take photos of a band that's hype, so I can post it, and maybe I'm gonna have like a really good day on the algorithm, and my notifications are gonna be busting, and my dopamine's gonna be really good in my head? Or am I doing it in the pursuit of trying to be a better show photographer? Or am I doing it because there's no one else in my scene who's doing it, and it's the least that I can do because of what punk and DIY and hardcore gave to me? What's the why? I honestly believe if you boil down, if you forced every single show photographer to write down their why before entering the show with a camera, a lot of people would be like, and they were 100% honest. People are like, damn, you're just clout chasing a little bit. How about you turn around and go? But there's very few who are like genuinely doing it because they love it and they love the opportunity to shoot for their community. This comment from Ashland Creative, I really, really like this. They wrote, grown up going to local shows, I don't even like pulling my camera out anymore because there's so many kids with cameras now. 2 is enough. But the biggest thing is the etiquette of photographing live bands and being 1, obnoxious, 2, blocking crowd members, which that's the Pigpen show through and through. 3, getting entirely too close. 4, sticking your camera in obnoxious areas for long periods of time. So I want to break down some of those points that Ash is making here. So obnoxious, that could be applied to so many different facets of like,
absolutely.
That could be anything of I deserve to be guested because I'm taking photos at the show. Like
the attitude, I would say more than anything, it applies to the attitude.
Yeah, like I've seen people that are like, it's very unfortunate when someone goes to a show and then through something happening at the show, their equipment breaks, but then the immediate like jumping to, you need to now pay for my equipment. It's like, that's just that's the risk you take to get those types of shots. It's no different than if you're like out on a safari in Africa and trying to get a photo of a lion, and then some fucking like bird comes and picks up your camera bag and it goes, are you gonna sue Africa? No. That's a very stupid analogy, but that's the point I'm trying to make here, is like capturing that energy, like depending where you stay, there's like a danger zone. It's no different than going to the show itself, whether you have a camera in hand or not. But like that's the risk you take.
At Comeback Kid at Side Stage, where there were no rules, and I was basically in the front the entire time. I thought that someone pushed me, and I leaned on my flash, and I thought it broke. No, it was fine. Actually, I found it a couple days later. I just didn't do a thing to make it adjustable again.
Oh.
Like, oh, okay. Like, I was upset, but I was upset at myself, expecting to replace it myself. I wasn't gonna go after whoever pushed me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, yeah, no, I get what you're saying with that one.
Blocking crowd members, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Really, like, really the worst place that you could be standing is a lot in what we were seeing in the Pigpen video. But the other thing is that every venue layout is different, and there's good, great, bad, and terrible places for you to stand to get your photos. But that also plays a part into what gear you might have and how much you can kind of do. But again, we'll talk about that when we get to our new rules. Getting entirely too close, I think, is also kind of like more when you're like way up at the front, or like you have a fisheye and you're just like really trying to get in people's faces. Like,
I'm guilty of that also, doing that at Comeback Kid at Side Stage, because we saw my photos. I'm using a 16mm lens. I had to be literally this far away from Andrew's face to get some of those photos.
Mhm.
I don't think he cared, because, it's fucking Goose, but yeah.
Again, I think these
nuance to that one.
There's nuance,
for sure.
yes. Which we're gonna get to. And a lot of these things that I am mentioning, or that we're gonna talk about, like no person who is as experienced or inexperienced is clean, or has never made these mistakes. Very much in the same breath of like the 10 Commandments of like being in a band or going to a show. Like, no one has not broken any of those rules. But again, I'm jumping a little too ahead. So the last thing here: sticking your camera in obnoxious areas for long periods of time. The main thing that comes to mind when I hear that, or what were you going to say, Quinn?
I was gonna say that sounds more like a video issue compared to photography.
Yes.
At least how the way that I take photos, the way that I know most people in my area take photos, is they're not doing that. And they're moving around a lot, and they're going from, like, even if they're standing in the same spot, they might have their camera up here, but then 2 seconds later it's down here, right? So
Sure.
I feel like that
feels
applies more to video stuff than photo stuff.
Yeah, I could see the perspective on that. My mind went to when someone's like kind of going behind a bunch of the stage equipment to maybe get like a drummer shot, but they're like,
yeah.
But I've seen it where they're like not even behind equipment, they're just like standing on the stage in front, almost in front of the drums, and just like and it's like, bro.
I don't think there's a lot of stages in Winnipeg that have that issue, so maybe that's why I don't think of that immediately. Because Handsome Daughter has that little staircase right beside the drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
The Goodwill doesn't exist anymore, but you could easily get up and around.
Yeah. This is why pre-planning, like where you're gonna move and where you're not gonna move.
Knowing the venue is important for that one.
Absolutely. And here's the other part of that. You could have a plan of like, okay, I'm gonna stand here, or I'm gonna move around and do these things. The minute that like you put bodies and other people who are there again just to watch the band, that might change the flow, or that might eliminate some of your options. Like we saw it on last week, where I was hired to film Calling All Captains, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to go freely back and forth, but what happened? Bunch of security guards who are catching stage divers, like, kind of all came as like boss levels that I had to kind of like navigate around. So, there is an aspect of figuring things out on the fly, which I credit a lot of my problem solving to playing in bands over the years, because you make a plan, your string breaks, your guitar pedal board is fucked, your singer gets knocked out in the midst of your show, and you're like, someone's amp is on fire. Like, there's so many things that happen, but being able to like look at it and then be like, okay, what can I do to kind of work around that versus just pissing and crying and complaining. But Ashland, thanks for your comment. I think there's a lot of good things there. 2 is again, I think it depends on the size of the show, but I think for like a smaller local show, as they were saying, 2 is probably fine. This is also a really good comment. And there's some good back and forth here. So this comes from Blev Squad Rata. I feel like there's a better way to say that. I have tons of show pics going back to the mid-90s shot on whatever I had on me at the time. Are all these incredible like the media we see for the biggest bands? Absolutely not, but I'm glad they exist. Yes, I look back on some of the videos and I'm not as like I look back on some of the first videos that I did even before Scoped Exposure. The quality is nowhere of the magnitude of what can be done today. And frankly, like not even what could be done at that time period. Are they happy they exist? Yes. That is the thing where, again, when I was very headstrong on a lot of this aspect where like I was thinking instead of 10 days into when a show happens or after a set happens, I was thinking 10 years. Like after all these bands are broken up, these venues don't exist, there's like a new generation of kids, and maybe those people are starting families and they're not able to go to shows as much, but they could at least go back and be like, hey, remember that time we played so-and-so venue and then like this happened, but like this also happened and it was crazy. Oh, there's a video of that Spencer filmed like 15 years ago. Let's watch it. And without that, you're not able to have that. And you know, you can also do that through the photo side of things. Like sometimes in the weirdest of places and circumstances make for the best memories. And when you have people who are like there to kind of capture that, and you can't plan for a lot of that is the thing. So when you have people who are like your go-to people within the scene who are going to take the photos, who are going to take the videos, I think that you should feed into those. Is there nuance to that? Yes. I'm going to finish Blev's comment and then Quinn, if you have any thoughts on this. This is not only a problem at big shows, or sorry,
This is
only a problem at big shows. Very true. So let's not discourage the kids regardless whether they pursue professional photography or not. Just my take. I gotta give you a like.
So my thoughts for this, absolutely. I'm not saying we need to discourage the kids whether or not they pursue professional photography. I'm saying for a show like Pigpen, we don't need that many photographers. You know? Shoot the other bands that probably didn't have 6 people shooting them, you know, for that night. Because I think we talked about that, seeing all these photos of Pigpen, but then we didn't really see a ton of photos of the other bands, you know? Like, there are other ways to go and do that instead of choosing, like, just the hype band for the night or clout chasing, you know? If you want to do it, do it. You doesn't have to be, like, the biggest band in the world.
What does that say? Do it.
Do it or don't, exactly.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying that were there people just to get the shot of Maddie? Like truly, there were people there who were, okay, Maddie's band is playing. They probably don't even know the name Pigpen. And while they are, like, it's very obvious when they're taking photos, they're only looking at Maddie. They're not looking at the other, they're not even looking at Wade from Alexis on Fire. They have no idea who that is. They're just there to look at Maddie. And that just comes with the territory of being, like, I didn't know where we put Maddie on the B, C, D, the tier list of celebrity tier list or whatever, whether or not he's, did we say B?
I think Grayson and I
low
said
Bs?
B, and you said, like, low B, high C.
Yeah, I still stand by that. Low B, high C. But that's the unfortunate world that we live in. That there will be people who are I'll just say, the people that are focusing that way, they're not photographers. They're just paparazzi. Is that based?
Yeah, no, I agree. We may have gotten rid of the old school paparazzi, but paparazzi still exists in the sense that people are showing up with cameras at shows just to get the buzz band of the night, you know?
Yeah. I think there's three types of camera people in this world. Photographers, paparazzi, and then archivists. And I've talked to I view archiving different than people who are just a photographer. A photographer is someone who is deciding, I want to take photos of these bands or I want to take these types of shots. Paparazzi is someone who is like, I only want to take photos that are going to benefit me. And usually that's of the bigger bands at the bigger shows, like this comment is saying. And then archivists are people who are like, I am here to serve. And I'm here to shoot every single band and upload not every single photo, but I'm uploading the photos that tell the story of this show that I'm going to. Obviously, the obvious example of that is someone like Sunny from Hey 56, who is still to this day filming the big I saw a photo
pumping out so much shit, but in the best
pumping out
way.
so much shit. I saw he filmed a Data Remembers album release show. And I was like, that was not on my bingo card this year. But he will do that, and then the next day go film a 50-person show in Philadelphia. He is that committed to it. I felt like I was that committed to it here for a time.
Yeah.
That time
you absolutely were. You absolutely were.
Thank you. I'm realizing I need to give myself more...
No, you guys, Spencer truly does not know the impact that he made with Scoped Exposure, to the point where people were calling it Canadian Hate 56.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard those comments, but
I
got that a lot every time I brought up Scoped Exposure. Everyone would be like, "Oh, Canadian Hate 56." Yeah.
Yeah, and now people just say I'm goofy. But this is what kind of we were talking about. Almost like everyone wants a picture because Maddie Matheson is a television celebrity. This comment's a little crazy. Why kicking these people in the back of the head works well. I think those kind of actions are they're just perpetuating the problem. So I do not agree with
that to innocent photographers, but there have been shows I've been to where people have done stuff like that to disrespectful people.
Sure.
Kicking them in the head, yeah.
How about photographers learn about spatial awareness and stay the fuck out of everyone's way? We kind of hit on all these things.
Unfortunately, again, it's just not the reality of life, and not everybody has etiquette, unfortunately. But that would be nice if photographers knew going to shows this is the kind of etiquette you should have, which we'll get into
and we are
soon.
about to.
Yeah.
We are about to showcase all the etiquette that someone needs. This is the last comment, and then we'll move on. Stay the fuck out of people's way. Don't use Flash, preferably if you can't get away with not using Flash. Have fun, don't suck. We're going to talk a little bit about Flash. I think, again, to be a little more technical, because I don't know if Rules of 9 knows the inner workings with Flash. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he does, because he says if you can get away with not using Flash. So even in a very a tightly knit show where all the lights are on, let's say it's just at I don't know why I'm wanting to use Spinelli's like a pizza shop as an example, but that's just the first place that came to mind. So let's say you're at your local pizza shop that throws hardcore shows. All the lights are on. In theory, you're like, hey, maybe I can get away with flash, or not using flash, because there's enough light. Because with how our eyes work with like adjusting when we go outside versus when we're inside a space, cameras don't work the same way. So it could be bright-ish enough where you don't think that you need to, but like when you are trying to catch someone who is punk jumping and you need to like freeze frame that exact moment, your shutter, which is the speed as to which your camera takes that photo, needs to be fucking fast. And if you can't have that fast enough, you got to bump up everything else. So so flash, the way that and Quinn, I'm sure you're like, I'm just dying to say something on this subject.
No,
as well,
you're good.
as the photographer, because it's just flash. What it does is that pop of light is to autocorrect where things would just naturally be very dark because your shutter is so fast, where it will be properly exposed because you have that pop. Obviously, and Quinn, please take the wheel on this flash conversation, where flash comes into play for other factors as well.
Yeah, so there have been times I use like a TT350 from Godox, which if you don't know, it's like the tiniest little, I think I actually have it.
Show and tell.
Yeah. So I use this guy, right? Like it's not bigger than my hand, right? It's tiny. It's not very powerful at all. I have gone up to bands after getting this flash the first couple of times, like shooting my friends' bands, shooting like other people, and just like going up to them, like, so, you know, whether or not they're my friends, like I've asked them, and they've all been like, everybody have asked that I've used this flash for, prior to like shooting bigger bands. They've all been like, I've asked them like, hey, did my flash bother you throughout the show, throughout your set? Like, did it bother you? Because I want to know, because to me it looks like very, very bright, but of course I'm standing right next to my camera while it's going off. And every single time the bands have been like, no, I didn't notice it. No, it didn't bother me. No, it wasn't a distraction. Like, it doesn't bother them as much as you think it does.
Yeah, like again, there's
but it also nuance, right? Make sure your flash isn't super powerful. I put mine as low as it could go at 1/16, and it's not very powerful.
And again, there's a photographer mode for flash, and then there's a paparazzi mode for flash, where it's like, bah, 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 and you're just getting blinded. Like it's not even a flash pop. It's a fucking strobe effect that I'm playing. I'm trying to do my guitar solo, and it's like, so again,
which I would also say that that's how I take photos, especially if I'm using like my wider lens, like my 24-70. I might not do like paparazzi style blah 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 kind of flash, but when I'm using my 16mm, I like to get as many shots as I can because it's such a wide lens and it looks cool, and it's not an autofocus lens, so I just shoot and pray to God that something's in focus, essentially is how I do it. So I'm shooting like a paparazzi essentially, and again, I've asked my friends, or like not even my friends, but just people who play the show that I took photos of, be like, hey, did this bother you at all? And again, like I said, every single time they've said no, and that's how I shoot with my flash. So it really just depends. And again, I know a lot of people who use flashes that are bigger than mine, meaning that they're more powerful. If I had, like, let's say the next step up from this would be the V830, I wouldn't shoot like that because I know it's a more powerful flash. And I would still have my settings turned down, you know, like it's all nuance. That's the word of the day. Nuance.
It really is the word of the day. So those are just some of the comments that we we got on that clip alone. So here's the thing. We could talk about this all day, and frankly, we could talk about this all month if we really wanted to. How do we come to a close or conclusion that hopefully sets the record straight about teaching people the etiquette and the proper way to go about approaching show photography? And this is what I've come up with. Quinn, are you familiar with the story of Exodus in the Bible?
No.
Do you know who Moses is?
Yeah.
Do you know what the Ten Commandments are?
No. Can't say that I do.
So this is a religious upbringing, Spencer coming to play in the hardcore world. So, in the Bible, God gives Moses, he calls him to Mount Sinai to give him the 10 Commandments, which are essentially 10 rules for ethical and religious practices. And last night I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt a call from a greater being from beyond in my backyard. So I stumbled out of bed, and Jordan, when you're editing this episode, cue the religious choir operatic singings. But we have not but one. How am I going to balance this?
Oh my god.
Wait, this doesn't fall. Please don't fall.
Carved it out of stone or what?
Carved out of stone. We have the 2 stone tablets, and through the power that is invested in me, or vested in me, however people say it. I gotta put this down. I'm gonna.
What the fuck?
We are going
This I was not expecting.
We are going to write the 10 Commandments of show photography. I feel like I have to stand for the rest of this. Can you hear me okay if I'm standing like this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, rule number 1. And I'm not writing this specifically, but I just have this as a visual cue. Rule number 1, thou shalt shoot all the bands. Here's why I say that. Being a photographer at the show, especially if you're the only one there, if there's too many of you there, even for the shows that there are too many there, there's always multiple people who are there just to shoot one band or 2 bands or 4 bands. A true photographer, a true show photographer shows up at doors and they shoot all the bands and they give everyone the same love and treatment. I've been on both sides of the coin. I have been playing shows, seeing someone shoot photos either before or after my band set plays, and then I find out that they didn't shoot our set. And that sucks, frankly. When I started Scoped out the get-go, it was very important for me to give that love and treatment to everyone, all the bands on one specific bill. So, shoot all the bands. And again, these are commandments that we as flawed people will break, but these
I'm guilty of not shooting every single band every single time, but
Listen.
In my defense, I've been doing this for 10 years. I just want to chillax sometimes.
God doesn't want you to chillax. God wants you to shoot all the bands.
Okay.
So as long as you're, damnation over chilling out. Thou shalt, rule number 2, thou shalt strive to be inconspicuous. So what that means You are not the center of attention. You are to be a fly on the wall. You are to find places where you are not, when someone is looking at the stage, people are focusing on you doing your thing. You are there to document and film what is happening, not to be what is happening.
The center of the stage is the people on the stage.
I really wish
Not
I could
you.
have both of these on here. Well,
don't
we're
know what
going
to tell
one,
ya.
we're going one commandment at a time, I guess. It's just I literally was like, if I drop this and this falls on my foot, it's GG's.
Yeah, that
Um,
would suck.
Rule number 3, thou shalt over-communicate. So what that means, communicate to the bands, communicate to the show promoter. Like, get to talking to people, not just, like... And I know that some people that pick up this type of shit are introverted, they're socially awkward. I get all that. But if you don't communicate, people are going to fill in the blanks for you. So... tell people what you're trying to do. If that doesn't align with what they want for their performance or their show, that's not on you. And just let that be. But if you don't communicate what your intentions are, that won't set you up very well. Rule number 4. Thou shalt not expect special treatment. So again, if someone doesn't want you to
Important
shoot your show, you don't deserve to shoot their show. You don't deserve. No one deserves to shoot any specific band or celebrity in band ever. You don't deserve people just to pay for your $1,000 or multi-$1,000 camera setup if it breaks just by accident. You don't deserve to be paid. You don't deserve special treatment. No one does. But you specifically, because you have a camera, you don't. Rule number 5, thou shalt not stand in front of the stage. We don't need to, we know, you know what that means. Rule number 6.
We've beat that horse to death.
Yes. I feel like I need to switch commandments now, because there's 5 on each. Here's the thing. I only got the idea for this segment because I was moving these stone tiles in my backyard, and then I dropped this one, and it literally was destined to happen. It's split
That's so
right down the
funny.
middle. So
Yeah.
And Quinn, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a photo of myself with these, like, in my hands.
And
I'll
we'll
just-
make a picture of it or something.
Well, we'll use it as a template not only for this,
Yeah.
but for other times that God has me write commandments
Yeah.
for, going to shows, moshing, like, someone's going to write these things down.
We need to do a moshing one for sure.
Oh, no, wait, okay.
Oh my god.
For the record, I can lift this. I've just been lifting these for the last 3 days, and I am just
Yeah, be careful.
done. Yeah. Okay, what are we
Number
at? 6? Thou shalt be mindful of gear choices. So here's what I mean by that. Don't know what you're kind of getting into. Or try to figure out what kind of show setting you're getting into and what are the best gear choices to use. If you're going to a show and like that one comment that we brought up was saying, maybe you don't need to shoot flash. Maybe don't bring the flash. I would say bring what you can and bring options, but like be like, oh, this is not going to be the show for me to utilize like a crazy zoom lens. Quinn's camera just went kaput.
Yeah. I use the gimbal as basically my tripod. I think the gimbal possibly died. It
Oh.
died.
I see. Should I keep
Yeah.
going on these
Yeah.
commandments?
Yeah, I'll just have to physically turn it around.
That's fine. Um, if the space is so tight, having like knowing when and when not to use like a crazy fisheye lens. You know, like I've even seen shows where someone had like a black like it was a red camera and it was on a gimbal, like a two-handed gimbal, and this is at like a in a garage DIY level show, and it had a crazy light that was mounted on it, and I was just like, what are you doing, brother? Like, and again, my gear compacted into just being one camera with a little shotgun mic, and that was it. And having too much happening is A, it's distracting at times. B, it's just more risk for like maybe like a little bit better quality, depending on what you're trying to do. Just be mindful and be and experiment. You know, like we talked last episode of my friend Avrinder, who like he shot with a 70 to 200 for This Is Hardcore and like got some crazy shots, and that's not what he's normally used to, but that was a nice challenge for him. Okay. Number 7, thou shalt improve and evolve. So that's what we were saying about trying to always up your game, investing in new equipment, like just if bands are allowing you to take photos of them, whether you're good or not, get better. And people will see that through. It's no different than being in a band that is shitty at the beginning. If you don't improve and you just continue to play in shitty bands, like people unfortunately like will just have to tolerate it because some scenes just need bands just purely on the number side, but people aren't going to support it if it's like you have like I have come to see you but like and to support you, but you haven't leveled up. You can do it. You can level up. But just don't suck.
I shot on my T5i for, I want to say 5 years, and I grew out of it probably in that first year that I had it. So improving your gear is something that give you a lot more creative freedom. My A7 III, I've been using that for 5 years now. I'm still improving with it every single day.
Yep. Also, sorry, the stance that I'm doing, like, I'm literally, have you seen that video where it's like, hi, what can I get? And it's like at a coffee shop, and it's like, hi, what can I get for you? And it's behind, and then it's the shot behind the counter, and their like legs are super crazy, like, like, where am I going here? Okay, I gotta finish this. Number 8, thou shalt know when to not operate thy camera. Again, if you go to a show and there's like 6 or 7 other people, maybe it's not the time.
Maybe get like 2-3 shots.
Yeah, or
then
shoot
call
the
it a
one
day.
band that you really really want to.
Yeah.
Again, like some of these commandments counteract each other, but I think that the main thing
Again, nuance.
I think the main thing to know is, especially if it's unless you are hired by the band or by the show or requested, and you're just doing it just because you want to, just let the newer person that's started shooting because they saw your photos, like let them do it for that one, you know, like there will be other shows. So that's number 8. Number 9, thou shalt put photos out in a timely manner. Obviously,
don't be like me and edit them a month later, or in some cases 2 years later, because I still have unreleased photos from 2023.
Yeah, I think the way that offsets a lot of people's grievances about photos, whether they're good or not, is if I've learned anything in the in my time in doing this in hardcore, the person that can get things out the quickest usually is the winner. Does that mean that you should kill yourself with not sleeping and to like next day edit? For some people, they sleep in that bed. They make that bed and they sleep in it. Obviously, if you do video, that's way more complicated. But it's just better, and I think there's more love and appreciation when it's out there versus multiple months pass by. But again, it depends on what you're doing and what your creative flow is. And then number 10, this is the last one of these commandments. Thou shalt start a band. Now, hear me out. A lot of people take photos because they have no musical bone in their body, and they're like, well, I can at least do this. I am of the unique breed of people that had both experience and passion in music and media. So I hear you. However, you are also shooting a type of music that is so easy to pick up compared to like so many other music genres in the world. And I think there's something to be said where when you play in a band, you approach and your perspective about photographers and people who are on the other side of the lens while you're on stage and you're doing it. I think that is it's a very eye-opening position to be in. And new bands is like, we always need more bands. We don't always need more people taking photos of bands.
Yeah.
These are commandments not from me, but of a higher power. So don't get mad.
I mentioned on the last episode that I was finally starting a band. So yeah, I would agree that you should start a band if you are a photographer. So you can be on the other end of things for once. I'm someone who like doesn't really feel like I have musical talent, but you know what I can do? I can write lyrics. If I can write lyrics, I can sing them. If I can do that, I could probably do it while playing bass. So, you know.
Exactly.
Drums, guitar, maybe not, but bass is pretty easy to pick up. If you feel like you can't play any other instrument, try bass guitar. It's so easy.
Listen, you can do it. You can do it. Trust me. So again,
how long have you been in Endgame?
Endgame started 20. Did we start in 2018 or no 2019? 2019.
So 6 years.
Yeah, I feel like it's been longer than that, but again, I
mean, COVID was also in there, so
yeah. We dropped a demo in 2020, but we were playing shows the year leading
prior.
Up. Yes. Yeah. But again, I've been playing in bands for over half my life, and
that's true.
But at the same time, in my very first band, I was the one. This is the last thing I'll pull up. This is probably a piece of gear that I don't think, Quinn, you've seen. This was one of the first video cameras that I ever had. A Flip Ultra HD. HD being like regular ass HD.
Yeah. Not the HD we know today.
This with the pop-out USB was so sick. But
I've never seen this in my life.
I would set this up, like put it here, like on the back of a show or a practice, and I would film all of our sets and I would rewatch. There's stuff that I filmed on this that like I didn't ever post. It was just for like myself, right? Mm-hmm. and it just found it very helpful for me to like watch our live sets and be like, okay, like what's happening here, or just something funny happens. But again, all of that is tucked away on a hard drive somewhere, and I really would like to figure out where it is. But I just blanked. Anyways,
That's our 10 commandments.
Those are our 10 commandments. We will be doing more 10 commandments for other aspects, as we said. And please, if you want a spiritual, if you have any spiritual requests for themes for future 10 commandments, you can write them down in the comments, but also say a prayer to whatever God that you that you worship. I don't know what I'm saying now. But let us know. This part of the episode is where we time travel a little bit because I was mentioning
Backwards,
we were
technically.
going. Yeah. Well, time travel, forwards or back. But because we've hit on a lot of the stuff around the photography, we're going to talk about Tony Hawk now. And we're going to do one of these. Quinn, help me out. And transition to Grayson and I. Okay, lovely people of the internet and the podcast world. It is time again for the Tony Hawk soundtrack tier list of destiny here. If you might have missed our last episode, we did our initial review of everything. Yes, put your hands together.
Sorry, I was delayed with it.
Clap it up.
It was turned down.
This segment, just because we had to do a couple of moving logistics around, this episode might feel a little discombobulated, but sometimes the show must go on, as they say. So we're doing this segment with Grayson and I, and then depending on if we're going to do something beforehand, we probably will with Quinn, just to make sure that they're included in the episode. But without further ado, or to go back to what I was saying, we're doing a ultra mega super duper awesome tier list of all the Tony Hawk soundtracks. And our episode 2 weeks ago, we hit on the first main trilogy. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3. And this is kind of the placement in the rankings. So in our review, we put Pro Skater 1 in A.
Mm-hmm.
2, unfortunately, upon our review, we realized it deserved to be a little bit lower.
Little mid.
C.
Little mid.
Still a lot of great tracks.
It's
for
still
those
passing grade, right?
Yes. C's get degrees, right? And then the goated, the undisputed Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 in S tier.
That is the level by which things are measured, that soundtrack.
Yes. So, I think the frequency, if people don't remember or recall correctly, is we're doing 3 games every 2 weeks. And all of this is leading up to the main Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 games that are coming out in June or July, I believe. Ironically, the Wave 3 of the soundtrack, the marketing for this game is pretty crazy, and they've been doing the soundtrack in waves, and Wave 3 came out just a couple days ago, and I saw Drain was on it.
Wow.
I'm sure that we'll put the clip together with the side by side. But as we start moving towards those games, obviously there's a lot of repeats from past games, but there's a lot of new faces as well, and we will just be just as critical for those bands that are more modern day bands that we love. But at the end of the day, it needs to make sense in the Tony Hawk video game world. Any thoughts on that, Grayson? I don't
like
know if
to
you
see-
saw the drop.
No, I haven't been keeping track of it, but I like that Drain is on it. It makes sense because they're from Santa Cruz, California.
Mm-hmm.
They do collaboration with Santa Cruz Skateboards. And I even believe they did a Thrasher photo shoot where I can't remember the skater, but they recreated a shot from the 90s where a skater is basically ollies off of a kicker that's on a loading ramp over a band while they're playing. And so they recreated that shot.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was Thrasher or I feel like it was Santa Cruz Skateboards.
It might have been Santa Cruz Skateboards that did it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the link to it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I remember because this was very early stages of the band as they were kind of getting things going. But to see this, I'm like, this is the type of shit that I think that every band should do more of. Yes, and it was for Santa Cruz Skateboards. And not to be a bummer, but I think the actual the skater that was in this project, I think he passed away.
Sad.
But this
What a photo though.
iconic dude. Yeah.
It's real. They actually did that.
They
Like
done
that's
did
not
that.
that's not photoshopped. Like that dude is actually jumping over a drain.
Mm-hmm. There's a really cool behind the scenes of this whole thing that as much as I would like to watch it now, we don't have to get too derailed. But look at these guys. That's some real DIY skate punk shit. Anywho,
We love it. We love it.
yeah. So going back, I wanted to circle back on some of the things that we said in the last episode of what makes a good Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack, and a song that deserves to be on that soundtrack. Because as I was listening, and I have how many pages of notes here?
It's
I have
madness.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and
That's too much.
I got halfway through Thug 2, but that's a conversation for another day.
That's too many notes.
It's too many songs, frankly.
I think it's too many songs.
We are getting into an era of these soundtracks where the amount of songs is kind of insane. And I'm trying to pull it up here because I was reading that the soundtracks have a there's a list of songs that are only on the PC versions versus the console, and I thought that was very strange. So check this out. So, and right here, an asterisk denotes a song that was available for the PlayStation 1 version.
Okay.
Wait, denotes means
It makes that's
it was
like the
only on?
It was only on that one.
Oh, okay. So if you were on the PlayStation 1, there's so
We
many.
could go down to 2 because 2 is the PC and Mac only exclusive tracks. Oh, I see. Lunchbox Avenue tracks.
Kind of weird that they had. Oh, do you think it's this track is for PC? So
Those two
list
are only for
Lunchbox
PC
songs
and
on
Mac.
PC, and then this one's for Mac.
I think they're both only. I think they're both on them.
Yeah. Also, Polish exclusive tracks. I didn't even realize that existed.
I didn't know that was a thing at all. Right?
Cancel the episode. We haven't listened to
This has now become.
WSCNE.
That's what this has become. This is now a reaction episode to the Polish exclusive tracks on
Yes.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
That's some bonus content.
I have some strong ideas about the soundtrack actually, because this is one of the last games that I really, really played before I was kind of not focusing on video games as much.
Right. Well, before we get there, I just need to say, so I wrote down, and I think we said this on the last episode, what makes a good Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack, song and just body of work is songs that are a collection, as a collection, are diverse. Songs that hype you up and make you want to land the sickest combo ever, and then songs that embody skate culture. Because I had to kind of flip my brain at times where I was judging, like, is this a good song, or is this a good song that I could play a skateboarding game to, if that makes sense. So let's kick it off with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. I'm going to pull up, this is the track list.
It's in alphabetical order by artist.
Yes. And let me flip back to my notes here. Obviously, there's certain songs that I know already, but number 1, AC/DC TNT.
No.
Just
No.
you're saying
pass.
no,
Pass.
but
I'm
again,
sorry.
as a song for a skateboarding game, or as a song in general.
Both. I don't know off the top of my head. Like, maybe I'm off base. I'm not the biggest skater. I'm what you would call a poser. But I appreciate skate culture, obviously, because I like punk rock and I like hardcore.
Right.
And AC/DC doesn't fit either one. It's like old guy, grandpa, like rock.
Right. And I think you're going to start to see, I think on 4 is like, there's a bit of a shift in Underground and Underground 2, where there's a lot bigger risks that are taken on the music side, but I think 4 is still like jumping
Radio.
off the established vibe and ground off of Pro Skater 3. I think this is fine. I think there's worser AC/DC songs. The main point of this song that I really like is the crash out outro that feels very much like, you know, where they're just fucking soloing and doing all the things. I feel like that works really well for a skateboarding game. Is it like the best song on here? Absolutely not. Is it the worst? No, I wouldn't say that either.
I agree. It's not the worst song. I just don't like the song or the band or anything about them.
Right.
But again, it's just, this personal. It's not.
Personal opinion.
It's not subjective. It's just
Right.
personal.
ASAP Rock. This track goes very hard. Great bass line. I can't remember if this is the first ASAP Rock appearance, because he does come back around again for either Thug 1 or Thug 2. It's in my notes.
This is the first one in the franchise
Oh, okay. So
because he's not on 1 through 3.
okay. That track's great. There's
Love
so
it.
many to get to here, so we need to like kind of unless
pick
there's a really good one that we need to hit on. Agent Orange, Bloodstains, Darkness version. I don't even know what that means.
It's an album, I think.
Oh, I see. It's like the emo version.
Sick.
Avail, Simple Song.
Sleeper track. I didn't learn about Avail until like I got into them a little later, and then I realized that track was on this game, and I was like, "Whoa, shit!" I like Avail.
I wrote down track wouldn't be as good if the main vocals weren't as harsh.
Yeah. If they weren't as harsh, it would just sound like a punk rock song from the 90s.
And there's a few other ones on this list that we're gonna get to that are that similar trope where the vocals and the grinding of teeth like kind of makes it like sound harder than it actually is, because like you hear the guitar and there's like, I don't think there's any distortion pedals in this man's chain.
Yeah, but this was like an early adjacent song.
Mm-hmm.
Like Avail was like a hardcore adjacent kind of Fugazi-esque band.
The Bouncing Souls.
Big thumbs up for this one.
Yeah, I wrote down this song has a great intro.
Yep. Love the vocals.
Well, I didn't have City Stars on my list, so I might have missed this one.
I don't remember hearing this one actually.
Okay, we'll just say it's
Sigh.
The Cult, Bad Fun.
Nice change up.
Yes. I really like the hook in the chorus. And I feel like, I do remember this when I was like, the guitar solo, like, is going so crazy, and then it just seamlessly goes back into like the main kind of lead in the chorus. There's no like where someone ends the guitar solo and then it kind of like takes them a second to like pick up into the second measure. So I had to kind of like write that down because I was like very impressed. Also like some older shit that isn't AC/DC.
That's what I appreciated about it, is like between this and AC/DC, I'm going with the Cult. You know what I mean? It's like they were cool.
Yeah. De La Soul, Oodles of O's.
Any De La Soul song.
Such a catchy. I wrote down the beat is perfect.
Yeah, dude, that's just De La Soul.
What do we got next? Delinquent Habits, also great bass line.
When the bass came in, I was like, okay. But at first I was like, I hope this isn't just an instrumental track, because it took a while for the vocals. But once the flow hits, the flow is crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought up, like, I feel like there's maybe only 10% of these soundtracks that have more instrumental focused, I guess, features. But I actually kind of like that songs can be longer and have like a more drawn out intro before the main vocals come in, because I think that kind of helps set up the song as you're kind of multitasking through, like, you know, like, oh, like give the I was just watching the one of the campaign videos, and it's like, oh, can you take my dog for a walk around the block? And so when it's like you take on that mission, and you have the song that helps like kind of set it up versus like diving straight in. And there's a time and place for that, absolutely. But yeah, I like when there's a little bit of time, space to breathe. The Distillers. I wrote this song is fine, but I just feel like it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I got like 2 minutes in and skipped. I was like, I can't.
Yeah,
it's the same thing the entire time.
I think that whole song is just like fast drumming that changes from the hats to the ride, and that's it. Like,
and then
not
the
even
vocals
like
are just, it's the same the whole, like it just doesn't go anywhere. I might get hate for saying that because I know a lot of people love the Distillers, and that's fine. But this track just wasn't. It wasn't for me.
Yeah, like I think a soundtrack song needs to be perfectly like, it enriches the experience, but it doesn't like overtake from the main thing that you're doing, which in this case is playing a Tony Hawk game. Because there's some tracks that are like, there's too much happening, I'm too distracted.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was just very much like elevator punk music, like in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But you're gonna catch some heat for that take from the Distiller.
Aren't the Distillers Canadian?
That's a good question.
We should check that out, because we might be offending our Canadian
own kinds.
brothers. Yeah.
Rock band. Oh, Los Angeles. Yeah.
Okay, I am not upset at all for what I said.
Yeah. Do more, Distillers.
Get your shit together.
How about you don't distill? I don't know.
He lost it. He almost had it.
Idea. Classic
Meh.
bassline beat.
It's boom bappy, but it was just a little slow. I'm sure in context of the game is probably sick.
Yeah, I wrote down the lyric "a demon between your legs." Hearing that as like a 15-year-old, he's pretty crazy.
What does that mean, Mom? I'm just kidding.
The Faction, Skate and Destroy.
This is a cool song because it's also featuring.
Yes, I need to pull up the Wikipedia for this song, because I was like, a band that has a song, Skate and Destroy, like if you saw that on like the side of a bus going by, you might be like, oh, that seems a little weird or corny. But
Was featuring Steve Caballero.
exactly. So I wanted to. Seems like there's a lot, and I don't know if this was maybe in the consideration facts, but a lot of tracks that have those references to punks or like whatever. Let's see if we can find. Come on.
Oh, he was
MF.
in the band.
He was in the band.
He
dude.
was in the band. That's
Uh,
it.
Okay, so the song, here we go. The song Skate and Destroy became wildly popular as background music at skate parks, pool. Oh, so this is even before Tony Hawk games. This is just like in the world of going
Yeah, this
to
was in
your
the
friends.
80s.
Yeah. So Skate and Destroy was also featured on the official Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 video game, providing the band's staying ability through time. The song has long been considered the official anthem for skateboarding and skateboarders everywhere. Well, that's a bold statement. I'm not going to say that it's incorrect, but I guess we don't have. I don't have the wherewithal to really understand like what would be the anthem for skateboarding and skateboarders. Yeah, but I'm missing. Am I missing anything else on that?
No, I think it's interesting though, because Steve Caballero started that band in
There you go.
the 80s.
Steve Cab. Also someone in the band whose nickname is Bomb. Love
Pretty
that.
hot, pretty hard.
Explosive. Okay. Jump back to Wikipedia by accident. Flogging Molly.
This
I
is the
said-
best track on the soundtrack.
I said debut of the banjo for Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
No,
Huh?
Guttermouth. Guttermouth had the banjo shit in
that's
it.
true. That's true. But you think that this is the best track on this whole thing?
That may just be. Dude, I love Flogging
I
Molly.
wrote it's fine. Like
What? Dude, Flogging Molly is the sickest. So, like, I don't love Irish punk, obviously, even though I look Irish as hell, but I'm not Irish. It all feels about the same to me, but as somebody who also loves drinking, Flogging Molly just makes me want to fucking drink, dude. So when I heard this,
when you hear
this
drunken
would-
lullabies, that makes sense.
I just like that band a lot, and over time, maybe it's because I'm in my 30s now that it makes sense to me. But maybe as like an 18-year-old or a 15-year-old, it would have been like, what is this old man music?
Right. All right. Well, yeah. There's more love, it seems, on Grayson's side. Gangstar,
him.
Mass Appeal. I really like this. I wrote that this is in the top 10 for this soundtrack for me.
Gangstar's sick.
2 R's as well.
Like Jeffree Star. It's Jeffree Star's dad.
I see. Goldfinger making a return with Spokesman. I
Good song.
thought it was very interesting that they brought them back as like the most iconic band to have like the ska and the horns, but this song has no horns.
I think
So
it's a
I
good
don't-
choice, though,
Yes, for sure.
because there's another horn track. Yeah, there's another horn track.
There-
We didn't get to it yet.
Yes, but just to jump around there, I don't know if a 8-year-old who's playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater hears the horns and they're like, "Oh, that's the band from the first game." Probably
Yeah, they
people
wouldn't
don't
know.
make that connection, but like we also don't know the like. I would love if there's anybody who's listening to this podcast who is in a band who has a song on here and they know all the happenings of like, do they select the band and then the band passes a song, or they're like, we want this song, and they're like, oh, is that a good representation of like who we are? Like, I could probably message Cody from Drain to be like, hey, did you guys choose Living Proof for like your feature, or like how did that
I mean, you know why they chose that though.
Well, for sure, the record, which is,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But if they were coming at any other point, like I think California Cursed would be like just as good of a song select. I said I was gonna write this down, how to pronounce it, so I'll just say this one, because I don't want to butcher it.
Haiku d'etat.
Haiku d'etat. It sounds like there's a Sweet Emotion sample in the back.
What?
Like go and
didn't
listen to
notice
this
that.
after, Grayson. It sounds like it's dum 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 dum. I'm like, I'm just waiting for the Aerosmith like
Sweet emotion.
It's definitely more psychedelic, which I think it grew on me over time. Hot Water Music.
That's meh.
Yeah, it didn't. It was fine. I wrote down, this makes me wish that while you're playing the game, you could like see the artwork of the song that you're listening to, because the artwork for this track is really crazy. Iron Maiden, Number
Good
of the
song.
Beast.
Good song.
Great.
The
iconic
sample,
song.
the sample at the beginning. It's
Hearing that
crazy.
as a teenager, just sitting in your bedroom by yourself, like, whoa, what?
It's 666.
Yeah, that's a keeper. JFA, Beach Blanket,
Bong out.
Bong out.
I got my bong out.
That's what Triple B Records stands for, by the way.
Beach blanket bong out. Is that true, Sam? Is that what Triple B is for?
Yeah. Assessing my notes, I said this track sucks. Definition of filler.
Yeah, this was a 30-second skip.
Yeah. Less Than Jake.
Not a
that
skip.
makes it not a skip. This is their first appearance, but they're coming back for one of the underground games as well. And this, all caps in my notes, horns are back.
I love this track because it's also all my best friends are metalheads, and it's like one of the dumbest tracks they have, but it's good. It's
That
so
is
funny.
a very iconic song name.
The title, yeah, it's like their best known song ever, I think.
The key change at the end of this song, dude, I love a key change.
Leave it to a ska band to do a key change. It's because they
It's true.
can. Musically smart enough.
I also wrote down, hot take, this song might be better than Superman.
Whoa.
I want to have, like, I might need to listen to them back to back, but I was like,
Yeah.
I think I like this better. Anyways, Lupac, song is When I'm on the Mic,
It's good.
but said when I'm on the mic.
When I'm on a mic.
I said good. Because again, there's so much music, and I'm just
I
like,
know.
okay, I need to go through here.
I mean, it's like out of 20 tracks, 5 of them, I would say, are like fucking rippers.
right. Musca Beats.
Just none of those really strike me.
I think I didn't even have them on the Spotify list, so we're just gonna skip them.
NWA.
NWA Express Yourself is like, I wouldn't say it's like a Trojan horse situation, but it's almost like, hey,
How did that one get on there?
exactly, because someone's gonna be like, I love this NWA band. They're talking about being positive and like expressing yourself, and then they like listen to the rest of the record. You're like, oh.
Oh, they're talking about killing cops? That's insane.
I mean, Fuck the Police coming straight from the underground would be so sick, but definitely would, I think, push that game past
That's
the
not
teen
going
rating.
past. That's not getting past the FCC, man.
No. Express Yourself got past the FCC.
It was on the radio. Express Yourself was huge.
Oh yeah. That's an iconic. Like that band has so much lore, but like that is kind of a track that definitely lives outside of like their main vibe, but I feel it still works really well. Nebula, good but not great. That's what I wrote down.
Good, not great.
Yeah, it was fine. The Offspring. What do you think of this?
Okay,
'Cause
so
I'm gonna upset some people.
I don't remember it, but I am going to listen to it real quick. Just because I want to know.
Yeah. I said I'm bored listening to this.
That's how I feel about a lot of Offspring music.
It's like it just doesn't really scratch my fancy personally. I know there's lots of people who love that band, but
Yeah, no, I don't like this song.
It ain't one of me.
I don't like this song.
All right, the end is in sight. Public Enemy, second time returning, just without Anthrax this time. The band, not
Yeah.
the drug.
Both.
I said track is good, but there's a little too much happening on the production side.
It's busy,
It's hard, but it's busy.
but I love Public Enemy, so I'm gonna give it a pass.
By the time I get to Arizona,
It's not my favorite track.
yeah, like I am not one to suggest a different Public Enemy track, because I don't know the catalog as well, but you know, cool to see them come back again. It kind of, it's interesting to see like when they're doing like returning artists, if they go for like the bigger song or something that's like a deeper cut.
Right.
Rocket from the Crypt. There's a very shrilly guitar that I made a
It's
note
a
of.
French like ska punk band.
Yeah, nothing that like was overly impressive, but
Too busy.
Too busy. But cool that they're bringing on other punk or ska bands from like international wise for an American made game. Run DMC. I thought that this was interesting because I was like, Adidas isn't the shoe brand that I think of when I think of like a skate shoe.
Really?
Like, I think of Vans,
Adidas skateboarding is
Specifically.
huge.
but yeah,
I don't
So
think of
I-
Vans as a skate shoe.
okay.
I mean, old school.
Is that
yeah.
a generational thing? Do you think?
No, like Vans, I think back used to be a skate shoe, but I don't think they've been a relevant like skateboarding, like a durable skateboarding shoe for.
Oh, durable? Absolutely not.
Like I think they're more for musicians to look cool than anything.
Best skateboard shoe. This has
Nike.
nothing to do with the track, by the way.
Nike SBs.
Let's see what people on Reddit were saying. Here, I'll copy this over.
Kiriyuma.
What? What is that?
It was the barracks guy. What's his name?
Sorry.
What?
It's what's a good skate shoe? Probably not these Vans. Some guy's foot. That's funny,
Those are some like fucked up looking chukkas, bro.
dude. Yeah, that is no bueno.
Those are looking rough.
Yeah, not that. Oh, is this what you said?
What?
Lackey?
Oh, Lakai. Lakais are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Half cabs.
Half cabs are decent. That's like a skate shoe.
Okay. ES Swift 1.5. I have no idea what that is.
ES. It's like E with a little accent aigu and then an S.
Lakai, DC, and Vans come to mind. No Adidas. I haven't seen any Adidas yet.
I'm tripping on the Vans because Vans, like, I've seen a couple of shoes maybe that I think skaters would wear, but most skaters I follow don't wear Vans. They wear like New Balance now.
Like these are
America's
brands
used
that
to-
I would be weirded out to see. Like I saw DC and Americas.
Yeah, Americas are good. When I was working at Zoomies, a lot of skaters liked Americas.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a whole separate part of this aspect, but like no shot at the Adidas dudes and dudettes.
But how old was
out there.
that article? Because Adidas has gotten bigger in the past like 10-ish years.
Well, this thread is only a year old, and some of these responses are like 2 years old, so I don't think it's like too out there.
That makes sense. Dude, time traveled.
Back to the track though.
Good track.
Good track, absolutely. Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK. Come on,
Classic.
classic. System of a Down, Shimmy.
Not the track I would have picked.
True. Not the track that I would have picked, but I think it's one of those like you thought I was done, boom, and you get hit with like a fucking like just out of nowhere track like that. But like obviously this isn't playing in chronological or alphabetical order.
Yeah.
But thinking that there's a 10-year-old that got into heavy music because this track was on here, I think that reality is very, very much a thing. And
I take it back. I think that for the game, it fits well. So it's maybe not my... Yeah. But then the drums are not like crazy like all the others. It's got like a really good like groove to it.
Yes.
So I think that's why they picked it. So
Also, this is maybe slightly autistic. I think certain songs on these soundtracks that have like goofier lyrics or things that are like a little like there's no other songs in the world where someone says shimmy 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 like in 4 times back to back. But like if this game is made for kids, that has more likelihood to stick with them versus like something that's just like a very like poetic hook or bridge that's talking about, you know, the political nature of the world. Do you know what I mean? Like just having tracks like, not to say I'm not sure what Shimmy is about per se, but like
it's about
that
dancing.
would be like, yeah, it's about dancing.
It's about dancing.
The Toy Dolls, Dig That Groove Baby. This, I think, is the... I think I wrote this down, too. I said... Oh, I didn't even write anything. I just wrote a sad face. Because I feel like this is, like, the worst song on here.
For what, the Toy Dolls?
Yes.
Yeah, I did not even memorable to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just... no good. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's that bad. U.S. Bombs, Your Country. I think this is another Irish rap.
Okay, yeah, this is a good fucking song, man.
Yes.
It's almost like a Oi song.
Yeah, it's Oi adjacent.
It's Oi adjacent.
Oi adjacent? Yes, yes. And then Zeke, Death Alley.
That wasn't even on mine.
Yeah, no,
that was
it
not
on mine either. So, all right. So overall, what are your thoughts? Revisiting some of these, a lot of there's only few that are like really strong standouts.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think there's a lot of like really good songs on here.
Yeah. I just hate that they go quantity over quality on the more they progress.
Right.
So I think that this one has a lot better songs than Pro Skater 2 did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the songs that do go hard go really hard. So I might have to go B.
Yeah, I definitely, as I'm looking at this, I definitely think that it's not passing Pro Skater,
No.
for sure. Because I think this is the early lesson in the soundtrack curation for these games, where, like you said, like quality isn't going to beat, or sorry, quantity isn't going to beat quality of. Pro Skater had what, 10 songs?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah.
and how many are on 4?
Dude, it's like 20 something.
Yeah, like, if not 30.
It's 20. No, actually, it's because there's
One.
the playlist is missing, so there's almost 34 tracks.
Okay, yeah. So that's 3 times the amount. So definitely, I don't think that puts it in A,
No.
or sorry, it doesn't put it above Pro Skater. I think overall though, there is a lot of good songs. So I'm thinking either putting it here or in B. But I'm kind of like up in the air whether or not it should move. But like, I think this is one of those situations where it might move as we add more things into here.
I'm down to start it in B.
Okay, I can do.
I think
that.
it's
because now
solid.
it's all stacked. We got
Yeah.
the it's like a Minecraft like stack of games here.
Damn, I don't have my fucking pad.
Chicken
jockey.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Again, I feel like the standout tracks on here are few and far between, but the good to great songs, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And there's not as many skips.
No.
Cool. All right.
We got to speed run Thug 1 and 2.
Yeah, we might just have to do Thug 1. Maybe Thug 2 gets put to the next one. And to be fair, I only did half of the list here. So you were saying, Grayson, before we got going, that you've played just a little bit of the Thug series or duo of games versus.
I've played the first one quite a bit. But the second one wasn't really. I think my brother played it a lot more than I did. Damn, this has a fuck ton of
78
tracks on it.
songs? Come on, man.
Go fuck yourself. And half
Okay.
of these bands I've never even heard of.
Right. But to be fair, there that is an aspect of the Tony Hawk the initial vision for the game where it's like we're not going to do a ton, like we're not just going to have the big hitters. So I got put onto some bands and some great songs on here for sure. But yeah, let's power through. So Alkaline Trio, I said good. Angry Amputees.
You skipped the first two.
No, right here.
What do you mean? Oh, shit. Oh, I forgot. You're on the thing. Sorry. I was looking at the Spotify list.
Well, I think. Hold on. I just want to. Oh, this is not in order.
Oh, they separated it by.
This is the first.
What the
Okay,
fuck?
That's too crazy. Fandom,
That's
why
whack.
did you do for this? Maybe I can pull up my Spotify and look it off of there. Would be nice to have it where you could see the artwork as well, but hopefully this doesn't crash my computer. Fandom. The fuck. Well, we can just say it as I'm pulling this up. So, Alkaline, that's the first one we had, right?
Yeah, Armageddon.
I wrote down.
This is like
my
good
head is
Alkaline Trio.
bobbing immediately.
Yeah. Just when they were good.
The Addicts. I put down- this is like a classic Tony Hawk Pro Skater sound. Song wise, I'm not like amazed. Anachron is next.
Anachron. It's all right. It's not. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's chill as fuck. So I'll say it's probably like a good reprieve. Are some of these levels specific?
I don't think so. Here, I should jump up to the fandom and see if that there was any disclaimers. Oh, this soundtrack specifically won MTV Video's Music Awards for Best Video Game Soundtrack in 2004.
Wow.
Sort of alphabetically and by genre. You lie.
You lie. No, it is alphabetical and by genre.
Oh. Well, it's by genre alphabetically.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's get.
Well, how do you want them to do it? That's what it means.
Okay. All right. Well. Oh no, you can't see my Spotify, right? I need to switch that.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Oh, we're getting delayed here with Thug.
It really makes sense why there were so many people into ska punk after playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like, it's crazy, dude. Mm-hmm.
Has your opinion of the placement of any of these changed since talking about 4?
No, I still think it's pretty solid. Like, I feel like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, unfortunately, is going to end up in the D category by the end
Do
of
you
this.
think it's going to get pushed down more?
Yeah, it's not very good. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing.
It's like there's some high highs, but like a lot of low valleys.
Dude, it's like mostly filler and like not even good filler.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 3 anchor tracks.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I think the amount of songs on it plays to its disadvantage too at that point because it's 15 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And if 3 out of 15 are bad, then you've got 12 tracks that are just, I mean, if you've got 12 tracks that are not great and then 3 good tracks,
Yeah.
that's not a good record.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting because I think the golden era of these games is all of these. Underground, Thug 2. American Wasteland is like, I think, an underappreciated Tony Hawk game. I've replayed that so many times. But I'm honestly kind of going into the rest of these games, as far as the soundtrack goes, like pretty blind. But again, like I think you can listen to that having never played the game and still be like, yeah, these are good songs. If I was playing this for any Tony Hawk game, I think this would work. It's not like game dependent if it's on Tony Hawk Ride versus Pro Skater 3.
Dude, I'm just looking at the Wasteland soundtrack.
Don't get me started.
So this is the sickest game soundtrack I've ever seen. Dude, it's every track is a fucking banger.
Oh, you're teasing. You're teasing me. We got like the Thug mega episode to get through, and then we'll hit that.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to get to the American Wasteland. I haven't even played the game.
Dude, highly recommend you play through that game.
I might have to get a copy of the game to play on PS2 before we do it, because that soundtrack, just reading through the track list, I'm like, oh my God. Wild in the Streets by Circle Jerks? Yep. That's crazy.
Okay, I think that's where we cap our episode. I feel like I didn't realize. I should have just, as soon as I said I have 13 pages of notes, it's like, I don't think we're going to get through all of these.
I was like, there's no fucking way, dude. There's no way. We'll get through 3 pages of notes.
Well, next week we'll hit Thug 1 and 2.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. But that's the way we do it.
That's life.
That's life. Oh, dude. Just a little teaser. I wrote the fact that Frank Sinatra is on here is like, no, but like
the story.
What do you mean the story?
It's got to play into the campaign somehow.
Oh. Well, maybe it's that. I just thought it was funny if you just like are in the biggest combo of your life, and then it's just like a car comes out and hits you, and then that song cues in, like that's life.
That's life.
It's like that's true. Okay, well,
Could have said it better.
yeah, I'll probably have something to kind of jump into the outro of the episode. Okay, we're back. Well,
Back to do the outro.
that was a mega ass episode. Hit on a lot of things here, so thanks so much for listening. Next week we're going to be talking about more Tony Hawk and more other things. Anything you want to plug, Quinn, before we go?
No, I don't have anything to plug today.
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 But just you wait. These are the 10 Commandments! You will follow them! Every word! This is heavy! I would really like to smash this over your dumbass face, but I definitely won't. Because we gotta use it for more stuff. Woo! Thanks for tuning in. Do it or don't. This is not a religious show. But we have fun. We do the damn thing. See you next week. Ta-ta.